Hi, this is a little explainer to talk about why we do internal analysis and give you some glossary material for it. So this is from Rob Grant's book. Um, and I include this because the reason we're concerned with internal analysis is that it is the source of competitive advantage. It's what makes firms succeed or not succeed, or lets us understand how firms do that. So here in this slide, competitive advantage comes from internal sources of change. Some firms have better capabilities like creativity and innovation. They could have other kinds of capabilities. And then we could have external change that firms successfully respond to. And one way you get competitive advantage through external change is you just get lucky. Your firms are different and your resources and capabilities fit the new environment better than somebody else's just by accident. As opposed to firms with a dynamic capability for recognizing change and adapting to it. So we've talked about a bunch of different kinds of capabilities that can produce competitive advantage. So before we go any further, we have glossary words. Resources are the things you have in the business model canvas, key resources. They're important because you use them in your activities, in your organizational capabilities. And then, as the book discusses, some of them are tangible, machinery, people. Some of them intangible, know-how, brands, right? So resources is not just physical stuff. Capabilities are things you do, or you can do. In business model canvas, key activities. They are often based on resources. So skill-based capabilities depend on human capital, which is an intangible resource. And they're often integrated in the strategy. That's why we have multiple key capabilities and core competencies as a basis for strategy. And then we can look for certain kinds of capabilities, core competencies, which are often bundles of capabilities like innovation core competency or rapid change core competencies, which we could also call dynamic capabilities. They're usually path dependent, firms develop them themselves, and they're really the things that distinguish the company from its competitors. They're the personality items in this. So this is how I think about it. It's in what's called the VRIN or VRIO framework. There are a couple of videos in the assignment that talk about sustained competitive advantage in a slightly different set of language. They talk about durability, for instance. So a capability or a resource or core competency contributes to sustained or sustainable competitive advantage when they are valuable, rare, hard to imitate or costly to imitate, and non-substitutable. Right? What does that mean? Valuable is pretty obvious. It creates value for the customer, and the customer is willing to pay for. Rare, it's hard to reproduce. There aren't a lot of them around. It's hard to imitate. And this is important because the other videos go into more detail about why things are hard to imitate. But if it's hard to imitate, and it's rare, then it's not available to your rivals. And if it's non-substitutable, that means that they can't use some other resource or capability to do the same thing. So if we have all four of those, then we can generate sustained competitive advantage, maybe. Over the years, some scholars have taken out the non-substitutable parts, said that's part of costly to imitate, and put in organized to exploit, because you can have a valuable, rare, and hard to imitate capability, but be unable to deploy it, be unable to get it where it needs to be, to deliver it to the people who need it, for instance. So you do have to be able to use the resources and capabilities you have, or at least get them to the customer. You have to be able to maintain them, right? So things become less valuable if you don't maintain them. They wear out, other people catch up, substitutes happen, imitation happens if we don't keep ahead. And you'll see in the other videos that sometimes scholars talk about the durability of a resource, which can be based on things like maintenance. So all of these aspects contribute to sustained competitive advantage and help firms survive competition.